Good morning, afternoon, and evening. Welcome back to the Liberal Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Bodio Papula, and with me I have Kaylee Horowitz.
Hey!
And Andy Gibby Gibson.
I'm sorry, that threw me off my game completely. I was expecting a yellow.
Andrew?
Or sorry, I'm just.
You good?
I've been Smeckledorfed. I've been. Who is it? I've been hoodwinked. I'm all over the place now. The universe has been rendered asunder. Is this a Berenstein podcast thing where it's like Kaylee's never said yellow, Kaylee's only said A?
Yo, I actually had the shower thought the other day because y'all, like you just said, Berenstein, the Mandela effect.
I thought you were just gonna say I had a shower the other day.
I had my first shower the other day. I am 32.
Congrats. You can finally come back to my house.
Hell yeah. We didn't want to tell you. But no, I was just sitting on my couch thinking, Berenstein Bears, thinking about Mandela effects. And I'm like, man, imagine being Nelson Mandela, the man who ended apartheid in South Africa, civil rights leader, one of the greatest in history. And the thing you're most associated with is people thinking you were dead when you weren't.
That can't be like the main thing. Maybe it is
the main thing.
Maybe it is
Go
for,
on the street,
American
ask people,
culture.
Ask somebody what the Mandela effect is. They'll probably answer. Ask them who Nelson Mandela is. They'd be like, wasn't he in an Idris Elba movie once?
Oh my god. Oh, Morgan Freeman, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty sure that most of the rest of the world is gonna be like, yeah, South Africa, apartheid. And it's just here in America, we're like, Berenstein! It's Berenstein! At least I hope.
Or there's just a very small subset that's like Mandela effect. That spooky ARG game sort of thing.
What are you talking about?
The Mandela effect. Or the Mandela Project, excuse me.
Okay.
The Mandela Project. Got it. I don't understand.
I'm only peripherally aware of the nerdy ARG lore hunting kind of games, but I don't play them myself.
I see you also enjoyed a little Dark Souls.
Noted Dark Souls aficionado, Kaylee.
Kaylee Horowitz.
Yeah, that's totally me. We've definitely entered a Mandela-affected world, if that's the case.
No, that's the darkest timeline. That's the world that we've entered, if that's the case.
No.
We don't invite Kaylee for our Dark Souls speed runs because we know we'd get our ass
Don't
whooped.
say our. I'm not a part of that.
Yes, but it's more than just me. So, plural. That's what it is.
No. I am there as a spectator approximately 5% of the time.
That's accurate.
Can I make fun of Gibby real quick?
Oh, yeah.
You don't need my permission.
My friend Andy Gibson, I love him more than most things on this planet. It is very funny to me when we talk Dark Souls and he says, man, I love Dark Souls. And I'm always in the back of my mind, it's like, no, you love the first one. You don't like the other one.
All right. Allow me my moment to defend myself.
Would you like to comment?
I like Dark Souls 3 a lot.
Gibby likes 1 and 3.
Souls liked.
2 and Elden Ring. Gibby's like, fuck that shit.
I put my 100 hours into Elden Ring. I did my part. I just don't like replaying it over and over again because it's just got so many bells and whistles that I get a little lost. And frankly, I just want a really big axe and I want to hit somebody with that axe. Is that so much to axe for?
They finally made multiplayer Elden Ring, like multiplayer Dark Souls. And I was like, Gibby, let's get on Night Raid. And he was like, no, I'm okay.
No.
All right, so here's my the core to my being, something that I keep locked up for only the people I trust most, which includes you, Kaylee, and everybody that's listening to this podcast right now.
You, me, and this brick wall you built in between us.
If something is over $35, I have to think about it for a very long time if I actually want to purchase it. If it's under $35, I don't worry about it. But the reason $34.99 is my like sticking point is because in 5th grade,
Okay.
at the end of the year, my mom said she'd get me a Lego, but only if it was like under $35. And I was like, yes, I've
the line,
found it. This is
That's
what
the
expensive is as an
Yeah.
adult.
That's
makes
actually
sense.
kind of reasonable. Yeah.
Look, man, I got a really sick B-Wing out of it. The Y-Wing was too expensive, but the B-Wing, perfect.
Mm.
I'm that way, and I have to catch myself because I went out with some friends this weekend. It was one of our someone's birthday, so we went to like one of those really kitschy LA rooftop bars where none of the drinks aren't good, the food isn't good, but
But it's all expensive.
Yeah, people
Sounds like
fancy.
it's gonna be over $35.
Brother, I intentionally did not get any drinks.
Mm.
We paid $37 for a charcuterie board.
Oh,
And I paid fucking $22 for some nasty ass wings. I was so mad.
Devastation.
I had to like stop myself from going into old black man mode and just like griping about the cost of everything. Like I pulled open the menu. I was like, God damn. Fuck is that $22 for some wings?
Can I make you feel even worse by telling you the price of the wings I bought today?
First off, were they good?
Oh yeah, solid 7 out of 10 wings right there. It's
Fair enough.
wing day where I work. I don't work in a kitchen, but like a few doors down from me, there's a decent bar and grill, and I got 10 wings for $8 today. I just wanted to dunk
Hell
on you.
yeah. Dunk
That's
on me.
good though.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I may be in Maryland and it's fucking expensive, but damn it, we can beat LA in this alone.
No, again, when you go to like a bar like that, you're paying them $30 out the ass just to be like, oh, but you're up high.
Yeah,
You can
exactly.
take nice pictures here. Because Tampa and St. Pete had the same problem.
It's like you can see the Hollywood sign from here. It's like, motherfucker, I see the Hollywood sign from my front door. What are you
Right.
talking about?
Me and that bitch have beef. I don't
That's what I'm
need to
saying.
see her.
You know how much horse shit is on that trail, bro?
Oh,
It's true. I've been there. There's a lot of horses.
Yeah, there's like it's like the one horse place in the city, and it's just don't. Hiking up to the Hollywood sign is very nice. It is very pretty. Just watch where you're stepping. Don't go on a windy day. You know,
Dude, I just
fair enough.
like Uber up to the observatory and skip the whole
the
thing.
observatory is way cooler. The observatory
Yeah.
is way
Had no shit on my shoes from that, I tell you what.
cooler.
Someone just mysteriously took a dump at the observatory.
Yes, the horse.
Mysterious. Where did this come? We gotta find who did this.
It's been haunted. No, I can't. Sorry, that reminded me of a terribly cursed image that one of our friends sent me years ago from a parking garage stairwell at a Comic-Con.
This isn't going to go well, isn't it?
Shout out to London.
Yo.
DM extraordinaire, London Carlisle.
Friend of the pod, London.
Friend of
We're
the
giving out
pod,
last
absolutely.
names now. Wow, for free.
Yeah, he's like an actor. He is a
true.
person.
He's getting it.
He's got clout. No, but years ago, I believe it was Dragon Con, something in Atlanta.
Yeah, had to been. Dragon
Yeah, like
Aroma.
squad of them went. I couldn't go, but I got this horribly cursed picture from one of the like parking garages or something in Atlanta,
Mhm.
where there was a massive pile of shit in
What?
the stairwell, and he took this cursed photo of him like propped over it. I'm like, no,
London!
don't dare make it look like you're the culprit here.
That's a health violation.
Like,
First off, why would you get that close to it? Second off, why would you take a picture of it? Third off, why would you send it to people?
right.
And fourth off, why would you be in the picture of poop that you sent to people, bruh?
It's
What
like
are you
holding up a
doing?
newspaper. You got to prove that you were there and what date it was.
Right. Like,
Look, shit happens. They weren't
Hey.
lying. It's true.
The stories were true.
The prophecy as foretold.
The legends. You must find the pile of feces within the stone chamber in the Hall of Dragons.
I'm just stalling for the other pile of shit we're here to talk about.
Yeah, so speaking of shit, happy America Day, y'all. It's America's
One
birthday.
sad
Birthday?
firework.
Yeah. That's what we call the 4th of July, right? It's America's birthday.
It's America's birthday.
Yeah.
It's a birthday.
Jeezy Pete's, sorry.
3 days ago it was Canada's birthday, but everybody forgot, and now they're really awkward at the party.
That's not Boxing Day, is it?
That's the 26th of December,
yeah.
and that's just a day for everybody to box up their crap that they don't want.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
What?
That's
I thought
funny.
it was actually about boxing in Canada.
Sometimes, but not always.
What? I've been lied to. Mandela!
It's
Nelson!
Stop blaming him! He's busy doing diplomacy in heaven.
It's America's birthday, so we thought we'd celebrate by watching a movie that makes fun of America. It's Idiocracy.
Welcome to Costco. I love you.
I love you.
I have comments about that, but whatever. Mike Judge Joint. King of the Hill was too long, so we did this instead. We're gonna do King of the Hill when that season comes out, though. By the way, this is non-negotiable.
I'm down.
I gotta prepare.
But 2006, Mike Judge Joint, hilariously straight to DVD. It's one of those. I hesitate to say cult classics. For reasons we can get in later, but it's definitely another one of those. Much like Thelma and Louise that we did last episode, one of those. This is one of those movies I've heard people talk about all the time. But contrary to having seen Thelma and Louise, I had never seen Idiocracy until we decided to watch it for the old pod.
The things I do for love.
Watch okay movies, apparently.
Yeah.
And there's my thoughts. It's synopsis. It's alright.
I've heard about this one a lot, and it was one that I always meant to get around to, just because so many obnoxious people online will point to it and go, "This says everything about our society today." And because it was made in, 2004 or something like that?
2006 is when it was released.
Yeah. The mid-2000s are all a blur to me, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, anyway about it, it's dated, and some things with their predictions are kind of almost right, but not in a way that they would have, anticipated, because back then, thefacebook.com wasn't exactly the social media sensation that it would become years down the line and have the impact on our democracy that it has had so far. So it's kind of in a way like a partial credit movie, but I almost don't want to give it that, because the way that it addresses some of its points range from small yikes to real big yikes.
Yeah. Kaylee.
No, similarly, this had never really occupied a whole lot of space in my pop culture brain. I knew it existed. I knew it was mid. I knew it tried to make the kind of argument of this is why, we have to be careful of the world being overrun with stupid people. Exactly what Gibby said. This is what society is going to be. Future. But actually sitting down to watch it, there's some moments that are kind of oh, haha, that's almost kind of funny based on just, we're 20 years away from when this came out now. So yeah, okay. And other pieces that are I can excuse some of this as just, shitty mid 2000s kind of writing humor, like, ooh, we didn't really think about that much more than the 5 seconds it took to come up with the idea, now did we?
Yeah.
But then some of it just really getting under my skin in ways that I'm like, the way in which it could be read into the film is not good.
Yeah.
And borderline, not just offensive, but like problematic. And then also it feels like we've just continued to lose the plot, and this movie has gone from being about one thing to now becoming about something else. That's like, when did other people decide this? Hello?
Yeah.
Why are you still watching this in 2025?
Yeah, definitely on the language. We used to say a lot of wild shit in 2006, man. It's like we used to use a lot of words that were insulting a lot of folks, and we were like, yeah, this is okay.
This is fine.
I've watched my fair share of like mid 2000s comedies. I did not expect like the amount of like F slurs and R words in this.
Yeah.
To an extent, I get like somewhat of like the point they were trying to make, but at the same time, it's just like, Jesus, we get it, man.
We got a white guy saying the N-word in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, like out of nowhere. It's like, whoa.
Sir?
It's
Sir?
like, excuse me? That whole bit wasn't very good.
Right?
No.
I'm like, was this funny then?
I think it was, considering the fact that I've seen Vince McMahon say that in the vicinity of Booker T. There was a significant amount of white people in the like early 2000s to which the concept of gangsta rap, which was more relevant 10 years before then, finally reached their cultural shores.
Yeah.
It hit critical mass.
Probably because Bill O'Reilly was complaining about it nightly or something. But you had a bunch of white dudes that were just like, ha, I too am down and getting jiggy with it. And it's just like, sir, that was the Fresh Prince. That was 15 years ago. And also, he's won like several Oscars by this point. You missed the boat.
Once we got those t-shirts with Pimp, SpongeBob, and Bugs Bunny, it was all over.
No, well,
don't disrespect history.
Lord help me. I'm gonna go back to the old me. No, that was around the time when hip hop, specifically like the Dirty South, Southern hip hop, Outkast, Lil Wayne, T.I., Jeezy, all of them. That was when hip hop was starting to become mainstream. Like I think Get Rich or Die Trying was 2004.
I mean, you can go back even earlier with like MC Hammer with like the mid 90s and everything.
But it
like,
wasn't quite established then.
No.
In the
like
early 2000s.
That MTV like music awards, like big focus, like that.
Yeah,
sort of.
yes, but not in the way that it would be, and that it has developed over the last, especially few years now that pop idols are also rappers now. It's like Megan Thee Stallion and Nicki Minaj was kind of the beginning of that, but now we have like Megan Thee Stallion and other folks. It's weird. Doechii, yeah, but she's fucking rad.
Yeah, so much.
But to Gibby's point, yeah, like hip hop was becoming mainstream. That was also around the time of the cancel the N-word movement. I don't know if you guys remember that. I remember it explicitly. And where black activists, I'm not going to say black activists, some black activists were like, let's cancel the N-word. So rappers were like, we're going to rhyme the N-word with N-word, and we're going to...
You're telling us not to do something, so
we're going to do it all the time.
Ha
ha. And that led to exactly what we're talking about, like Durag Vince in WWE.
Because also, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that where 100% that word, like, because I can't say it.
Yes, yes,
that's where that song comes out of. Yeah.
Jay-Z was one of the big people to be like,
no,
it's money time, baby. Just to like synopsize, right, for the people, the basic scenario of this movie is our protagonist, one Joe Bowers, played by Luke Wilson, is kind of the like bog standard everyman. He and Rita, a prostitute, which I have opinions on, played by Maya Rudolph, are
Yeah.
accidentally frozen in time, where they were supposed to be frozen for 1 year. They were frozen for 500 years. They wake up in the year 2505 to an America that has devolved. People don't speak correctly.
Imagine Wall-E. Piles of trash.
Yeah,
It's
yes,
desolate.
yeah.
It's a dust bowl. Except there's still people living here, and no one has cared to better the state of the world they're living in.
That's actually really apt now that you say it. It's Wall-E if like
But no fun little
really
robots.
it's Wall-E if like really cynical people made it.
I've got a new fan theory edition for the Pixar theory now.
A film theory.
Get out.
Wall-E is just like one city in this thing. If you turn the camera slightly right, you'd see President Camacho going like power.
There were all these people that actually got on the BNL ships and left, and then there's this one place outside of DC, I guess.
Yeah,
that went
down in
nah.
buttfuckers. They all just like missed the party, and they were like, "Oh, well, I guess it's ours now."
We vibing.
Can we talk about like the lore of the movie?
It makes no sense.
Yeah, the whole deal is just like in the year 2005, dumb people start reproducing more than intelligent people, and that creates the downfall of humanity.
That's a misconception.
Well, it's trying to get at this like reverse social Darwinism sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Like it's saying that, well, these high IQ people are going to be concerned about the state of the economy. What about global warming and that's effect on the future? We're waiting for a more stable time in our lives because we're trying to be responsible. Versus exactly, you've got kind of these like, and I can say this because I am from the South, these hicks that are out here.
Get them.
Just, fucking around. And, the men being, irresponsible pieces of shit, just doing whatever not like doing whatever dudes do, but like,
I don't want to wear a condom. It hurts.
Right. You're A grade, just stereotypical jackass that's still out there, by the way. They've just kind of evolved in the last 20 years, but they still exist. Just basically sleeping their way around, living the moment, not thinking about the repercussions, and exactly just having kids and kids and kids and kids, and, creating a system of like loose family ties and no consideration for any of that responsibility.
Yeah, it's not to say that it was a scenario unique to 2005.
No.
It's this very kind of scary implied eugenics of this is how smart people are versus this is how dumb people are.
Yeah.
And since the dumb people are reproducing, there will be more of them because intelligence is totally passed exclusively genetically. Because that's how that works.
Yeah.
At most generous, it's a pretty classist reading. At least generous, it's eugenics up in here.
Yeah. Which is wild that you would put that as the cold open of the movie and say, here's the downfall of society. I believe that stupid people shouldn't reproduce. So
I would have gotten like the point if like the point had been like the dumb things that we watch will ruin us, because like people have been like talking about that for a long time. I mean, Ray Bradbury, Aldous Huxley, like books written 50, 60, like
Greek
70
philosophers
years ago.
were bitching about writing down things as opposed to memorizing and reciting like oral storytelling.
People thought
Ever
the
since
novel
we've
was
made
the end.
media, the old people have bitched about it.
It wouldn't have been original, but it would have been like, yep, cable news 24/7, reality TV, wrestling, it's bad for us, and like this is what's going to consume us. But like the fact that they went with like just intelligence,
right?
Like,
this is just the same. It gets worse over time, but it never. There's no room for a unique genetic factor that it gets better, or that it's even not passed down by genetics.
But I feel like that would. There's an undercurrent of cognitive dissonance. Unfortunately for Mr. I could put it not entirely on Mike Judge, but he did write it, so I kind of can.
Michael.
Michael, you're better than this, man.
You wrote Hank Hill, goddammit!
You made Bobby. You made Lucky. You made Lucky, who was the exact antithesis of this movie.
You gave us Boomhauer, goddammit!
Show and I don't know you.
But like, I feel like if it had taken that path, whereas the things we watch are making us dumber, that would have been directly countered to, at that point, 2004. At that point, his most popular work was Beavis and Butthead, which is the very, again, people could call it a time capsule of the 90s, which it is in a sense, but it is very much so Bungolio, you know, the very kind of stuff he goes on to make fun of in the year 2505. There's a show called You Just Got Kicked in the Balls, which is obviously
Ow, my balls.
Ow, my balls, which is obviously supposed to be Jackass. But the whole thing of the show is just some dude taking nut shots, or the movie that's just like a guy's butt for an hour and a half.
It's just an ass. Yeah.
Yeah. And the entire time he's like looking at the downfall of society. And again, I'm like, dog, you made Beavis and Butthead. Like, who are you?
There was a contribution
I will say,
here.
I appreciate the consistency of the "ow my balls" joke, like to the point that they will go, "Look, it's the main guy. He's gonna sing the national anthem," and then just some guy kicks him in the nuts. I'm like,
But
okay.
but again, that's
poor
where
dude
I'm like,
is just out here living his life, and this just happens to him.
He gets paid for it. He's fine. But again, that's where I'm like, it's that cognitive dissonance, right? Because you're saying this is absolute lowest form of humor. If this is what humor is, this is our downfall. And then you just keep telling the joke over and over again. You're using it as like, yeah, this is funny. He shows up when we kick him in the nuts. It's like, but you just did the thing you said was wrong.
Wait a minute.
There's one moment when it comes to like the technology and the media that they display in the movie that I think they actually did get right. And it's when Joe first crashes through Dax Shepard's apartment and sees he's watching a big TV with 20 different screens on it, like 20 different tabs and everything, and they're all flashing bright and colorful. And I went, oh shit, that's me scrolling through YouTube shorts. They got me. They got me, gal.
Like, that's it. That's what my Instagram block looks like when I go through what's recommended for you in the search. Like, it's too much.
Mean, the commentary on like the attention span and like the flashing colors, and if like you read like any of them, it's like advertisements for porn sites or ow my balls or things like that. And I'm like, they actually had something here, and like if they had gotten into that more, maybe we could have like gotten something out of it. But like, I think you're exactly right. I'm not going to say it's like fully hypocritical or anything, but an argument could be made that it is.
Hey, I don't want to speak on the supposed morality of the piece, because I think that's a waste of time. But no, there's one moral failing of this piece. I'll stand by this. Maya Rudolph is fucking wasted on this movie, bro.
Yes!
She doesn't do anything. She's such a good comedian, and she's just kind of there doing like a street accent and like, yup, I'm here because I'm kind of pretty. I'm like, fuck this. She's awesome.
She is. She's so funny in everything that she's in that like the material gives her basically nowhere to go. Like, do you remember any funny lines she had? Maybe ripping off the guy like on the 24-hour like cycle of like, I'll fuck you tomorrow.
I do really like the kind of paranoia about Upgrade following her. Like I do really like the
Upgrade.
There's like a Maya Rudolph like trademark like little mania, like where she's not full crazy saying it, but it's that like no, this is a possibility despite us being 500 years in the future, like that. Something in like the minutia of her performance that she's so good at, and it's like it's absolutely absurd, but it's so one note. And then like maybe the guy she's just getting money from that she's not actually giving any service, but there's just nothing else that she's there for other than to look hot. And I guess it's because she's a funny lady, and so here's a funny movie, so we just have to put her here,
Basically.
even though there's nothing for her to do.
Also, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Isla Fisher?
Is it Ela Fisher?
Ela Fisher? I don't know how to. I'm sorry, Miss Fisher. I don't know how to pronounce your first name. There was a point 20 years ago where you were just like the stand-in hot lady in a lot of movies, and I find that really funny.
She made her money. Good for her.
She made her money.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Get that
she's
back.
like, show up. Is she going to act? Is she just going to sit in the corner and be pretty? Yup. Good for her.
Correct.
Yeah.
Shout out for Horatio Sands getting to play Horatio Sands.
Yeah.
Made his money. But Kaylee brings up a really good point there that there's kind of nothing to do because I know this is a satirical movie and it's a farce, and farces aren't really supposed to have that much depth by definition. But the lack of a character arc outside of one line that gets said at the very beginning of the movie that later inspires Luke Wilson and Maya Rudolph is really lacking, where it's just like, sometimes you should act. It's just like, okay, is that it? Is that all we're gonna get?
Is that the moral of the story? Are we gonna be motivated by his inaction, or is he gonna have a call to action that proves to be all that important?
He kind of
Right.
does, because it's like, hey, maybe I should go find the time machine, or maybe I can help some people because me, of average intelligence, I'm gonna help good right now. And it's just like, first of all, I don't think that guy was actually of average intelligence. I know what the scientists were saying, but I don't think so.
Intelligence and wisdom are different stats.
That's a good
Let
point.
alone the fact that even though this man is just like, he's a military grunt is kind of the idea that they're getting us at. But one, he had to still go through, military training, and as much as we shit on the United States military and go, oh, they'll take anyone, they still are exclusionary if you cannot make it to a certain point in your training.
You have to pass the PT test. You have to go through basic
they'll
training.
take just about anyone in their training as long as you are physically able, but
People fail out of basic all the time.
Absolutely. So it's the one, you are a working officer, or you're working in the United States military, you're working in the library, so you're not seeing at, but even that is a specialty that you've had to go through some amount of testing on to be given that job. Sir?
With the companies in the film, right? So
yes, let's talk about the brands.
The brands. So they did pay for the rights to use like Starbucks, Costco. It's made by 20th Century Fox. So 20th Century Fox wasn't owned by Disney yet. God, that's a weird sentence I just said. So they were still contributing with Fox News, so they didn't have to ask for that. So, like I said earlier, this got a straight to DVD release. This movie wasn't in theaters. There are two reasons for that. One, Mike Judge has kind of said in interviews himself, he's like, the movie didn't go well with test audiences. They weren't really sure about it. They were just like, yeah, we showed it to test audiences and they didn't like it. I'm like, really? The other, and Terry Crews has been quoted in the interview saying this too, but I don't know why he would know. The other has been that they couldn't market it because when you ask Starbucks, it's like, hey, can we have the likeness of your business? And they're like, yeah, for what? Reasons?
Don't worry about it.
You can't show advertisements for this movie because if you're bashing other ads, nobody will distribute it. Mike Judge's main producer was like, hey, we dropped Office Space and it became like a cult classic. We'll just drop this one straight to DVD and it'll be the same. So the whole concept. But it worked, right? So the whole concept of this movie being a cult classic and being this secret thing that only people in the know have.
You have to have a certain IQ to watch this movie.
Yeah, it was a marketing campaign. They did it on purpose. Again, where I'm like, oh man, this movie it's a result of the things it makes fun of, which is hilarious to me. Also, shout out to Costco. They're keeping their DEI initiative, so you leave them alone.
Fuck yeah.
We love Costco in this house.
Welcome to Costco.
Esprit.
Yeah.
I love you, Costco.
I love you, Costco. I said it.
We're not sponsored. We're just big fans.
I would love to be sponsored by Costco. You think I wouldn't eat 15 chicken bakes?
Give me a
right
shirt
now?
that says I'm a slut for Costco. I'll
Hell
wear
yeah.
it.
Little Kirkland signature, bro? All day.
Hot dogs!
Every day.
Look, man, they locked down the $1.50 hot dog and a drink combo,
It's a
and they will
decent
have
dog.
loyalty from us
Sam's
forever.
Club could never. The other thing I wanted to ask though on the brand stuff, like we also get we get Carl's Jr. in there, which, and this might lead into a separate conversation on, you know, not just the eugenics, but the like, hey, here's kind of the dangers of like what you're taking all these pieces of things that like are, I guess, fun. Don't like using those words. To make fun of like what you're calling dumb, or stupid people. We get Carl's Jr., but we also get the like the Banderade, whatever, the stand-in for Gatorade, basically.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like they become such a fixed point of like, oh hey, we need to actually try to remember how to grow food, grow plants, so give them water and not Gatorade, and oh, everyone works for this company, and so half of the world no longer has jobs now.
I think that's
were
just
we
like
that upset with Gatorade for some reason?
No.
What happened?
No, I think that just became their bit, right? Like one company gets so big that it takes over the government, right? Because what
Which
did they do?
that
They
is
took over
again
the FDA.
to like
That's
give
real.
these points
That's
of
happening.
like, hey, here's an idea that could have been really interesting to look at, of like what happens if a company got so big it bought the FDA and the FCC and everything else that could have been used to control its messaging, and then, you know, we just got stupid to the point we forgot, well, why did someone go do all that, and now it just is the way it is. But like there's an idea there, we just never touch it.
Yeah, as opposed to making that the plot, it's a plot point.
Right.
Because the plot is stupid people reproduce more than smart people.
I'm sorry to destroy with facts and logic the framework of a very silly movie, but like you're gonna need more than water for plants to grow, my guy, and they're not gonna grow overnight. I know that they've been doing real bad with Brondo with all the electrolytes killing them and everything, but like
That's not how this works!
that's not how this works! I went to an ag mech school, god damn it!
We did.
This is also part of my frustration with this movie, is that, like, every time y'all, like, again, I get it, he's just an average guy, and he's now the smartest but, like, it makes me want to flip a table!
You couldn't have had, like, a silly joke about fertilizer and have somebody go out and shit in the field
Like
or
shit in the
something?
field.
Right!
To what you were saying, Gibby, the entire time, y'all know what I do when I'm like not super into something. I disassociate and I start breaking it down. The entire time, I was like pointing at it. And it was like, where do they get cars? Who built that? Who
Where
programmed
do they get the
that?
guns?
Where do they get guns? How do they know how to dress themselves? Where do they get clothes? There's an entire marching band of guitar players.
Right!
That denotes intelligence.
Who's
Playing
making
guitars,
the guitars?
hard. Who's making the guitars? Who taught them how to play? Home dude has a flamethrower at one point. Somebody had to craft that flamethrower, get it to that place, provide it with fuel, teach him how to use it, right? It's like there's intelligence.
The doctor in the first like 20 minutes is like, oh yeah, my first wife was a pilot. It's like, who? We're not going to talk
planes.
About planes, right? Like very complex, delicate machines.
Right.
What?
I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the logic, you can just go, well, we got it from the garbage pile, but not for everything.
Right.
No, I think if you like sat down and like grilled Mr. Judge at the time, I wouldn't grill him now. Shit, he made the shit 22. Yeah, I think they recorded it in 2004, so we made the shit like 22 years ago. He'd be like, it's don't worry about it. I'm like, no, damn it.
Well, and I kept waiting. Maybe, again, one of these things where it's like, okay, if we can't actually make this a plot point, maybe we at least get to acknowledge it and then go back and look at that academically and go, ooh, yes, what an interesting point. But so many of the clothes are made of this, one like polyester synthetic shiny looking shit that I'm just like looking at all these textures going, oh, it looks so smooth. Like I can feel what that fabric is going to like. I imagine what that feels like. I wouldn't want that on my person for more than 10 minutes. But so many of them are covered in brand logo advertisements. Yes. Like that's one of the actual like interesting commentative things about this movie is like, again, the idea of corporate takeover that must have happened a couple hundred years prior. We have advertisements everywhere on the walls, in buildings, like clothing everywhere. And we never get to any reason of like, why is it still like this? Why are we still making clothes like it? Is it just because we've forgotten why? Is that the whole point? Like, Are
there a bunch of Starbucks CEOs that are like living it up right now? Because it seems like even like the people in charge of the country are kind of living in squalor in a way.
The people who implemented those like marketing corporate brand strategies, what happened to them? Where did they fuck off to 200 years ago? I want to know about that.
CEOs still exist, right? They make Maya Rudolph the CEO of Starbucks at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Or like even the guy in charge of
not Gatorade.
Yeah, I keep wanting to call it Bondo. I'm like, no, that's not it, right?
Brondo.
It starts with a B.
Yeah.
It's got electrolytes.
It's what the plants crave.
But it's not like here's this guy running the company and he clearly has no idea what's going on. But it's not like, no, but somebody did this years ago and I want to know more about that.
Things would collapse even under like silly logic.
Right.
Yeah. It's like it doesn't hold up, you know. Which again, for if the idea is this is just slapstick humor,
sure, then
that's fine, right? Then it's like, okay, we have all these questions, but fuck it, whatever. But if the idea is this is social commentary, then it's like, okay, there's gotta be some substance here, but there's gotta be a little something to grab onto.
Exactly. And there's traces of that, but not like anything able to solidify like a base, you know?
And we have these, like what you mentioned earlier, Bo, the one line at the very beginning of the movie, and then we come back to it again as he realizes that he should, you know, get up and do something with his life. That he just spent the whole time going, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm doing nothing, and I should have done all this instead. Like, whatever that vague call to action of just go do something with your life means. Yeah. Like, it feels like there were pieces, but no one ever built the connecting roads between them.
Yeah, it means nothing to say you should read. Like,
right.
That's the same thing as like telling somebody don't be racist. It's just like, okay, good message. What else, bud?
Be racist. I am a building.
I activated her vocal stems.
No, I was just gonna say like that vague idea of like there's something actionable, like as he misunderstands that that Rita's a sex worker, and he keeps talking about her painting. There's an actionable thing in that. It's stupid and naive, but it is actually a sweet, like, hey, something that's like you just have to go out and do it and find yourself or something you want to make when it's go out and make art, go out and paint, go out and write. Like, yeah, that, sure, but just go read. Go learn things. Like, unfortunately, there are people that'll take that and spend their days deep diving on unreliable sources and 4chan and call that research. Yeah. And that's also not good.
You're telling me that Facebook comment sections are not a verifiable source?
Give me no. The indoctrination.
Oh, shit.
No!
No,
it's not too late.
There, half of them are bots. No.
I had a similar frustration years ago. Gibby and I went to a film festival up in Traverse City. He was very kind to invite me up to a spot, and we had a ton of fun with our friend. Shout outs to Suzanne.
Shout outs to Suzanne,
friend of the pod.
Sus.
She watched a movie where it was basically a documentary of all the stuff going wrong with pollution, right? And how global warming is affecting everything. And they went and interviewed people all over the country for over a year just to make this movie. and people were like, watched it, and they were like, yeah, man, we made this movie. We talked to all these folks. We're going to show this to members of Congress. That's fucking dope. And then somebody in this stadium raised their hand because they were taking questions, and they said, sweet, what do we do about it?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, we don't know. That's not our job. And then, so which I said, then shut the fuck up and get out of the way. Right. Like,
Yeah.
it's very, I am the type of person who gets very frustrated that if you have some kind of social commentary and you're going to go through the practice of producing something, manufacturing something, putting out some kind of like really highly expensive, highly produced form of art, and you have no actionable, there's nothing actionable there. There's no say, and here's a potential solution, or here's how we find the solution. It's just the time machine was fake, and they have average intelligence, so their kids are smart too. That's where I get very frustrated. You know,
You shouldn't, even after a silly farcical comedy, you shouldn't go, okay, what was the purpose? What was the point?
Yeah.
Because even in comedies, like, there's it's not always a morality play or like here's the lesson, kids, but like usually there is something in there that's and here's the nugget, here's the words of wisdom.
Right.
Whether they're actually like good is up to debate, because sometimes it's like, well, the little trickster schemer gets away with things, but nobody got hurt, and the people that deserved their comeuppance got their comeuppance. So I guess just don't be a bitch, don't be stingy, and have some fun in your life. But like,
I guess I'm just not of an age where I find cynicism to be an adequate answer anymore.
Yeah.
Like I want, the world is cynical and shitty enough as it is. I don't want more of that. I want you to show me that you've thought deeper about this.
As much as we complain about everything, at our core, there is hope. Which, like, it doesn't sound like it because we complain a lot, but I swear I am clinging to that fire really tight.
There is a right that one should have to complain when you can back up that bemoaning with something actionable or a plan of, well, I can't do this, but here's what could be done to alleviate this.
On this scale, absolutely. Yes, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're gonna make a whole ass fucking movie, then like stand by something. Right.
If you want to talk about like, hey, the world is gonna go to shit because it feels like all we care about anymore is like easy sex and the cheap thrills of bodily like violence and wrestling and monster trucks. And guns. We love exploding things.
Love a gun. Love a police
right.
state,
Like if
apparently.
that's your claim here, then find a way. You don't have to get up on the preacher's pulpit and talk about, well, why is being smart cool? But like, but that's almost what they do at the end, which is also a like, oh my god, really? After all of this dumbassery, this is what you're gonna end us with?
Maybe give him a wedgie.
But like, you know what? Honestly, like WALL-E, show us why learning and broadening horizons is important. Show us what is so remarkable about art, about culture, about knowledge, because that's what WALL-E shares with Eve. That is what that movie is about.
I didn't think we'd start on Idiocracy and say, yeah, WALL-E is the better Idiocracy. It's just the better form of it. I emphatically agree. Like, there's
barely any eugenics in that one.
Barely?
Disney was like, we gotta have a little.
I mean, yeah, but that's the villainous, hey, remember, this is bad, kids.
Right.
This is not a good moral or political philosophy.
I have just one thing to say in closing.
Okay.
Brondo. It's what the plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
Are you going to get paid by Carl's Jr. if you say it's sponsored by Carl's Jr.?
That was a good bit. I'm not even going to front.
That was well, again, one more note. Again, it's that like I do really like how we got like all the nail basically hit on the head, because again, with the advertising shit, I'm like, oh yeah, you're calling this in the future of 2505. And we're already inundated with just
Yeah.
like, it feels like every time someone, like an influencer breathes, they're saying exactly, it's sponsored by whatever brand. I'm
Yeah.
like, God,
I
we're
think
already here.
that's a fun little thought experiment. What did the movie get right? We're gonna become a Reddit post real quick.
Ooh.
What did the movie get right? What did it get wrong? Obviously it was MySpace, I think, had just become a thing, so it didn't see the advent of social media, which is, like Gibby was saying, has changed society
Yeah.
a good bit over the last 20 years.
A little bit, huh?
We
Little
didn't
bit.
get the Black Mirror, that one everybody rates everybody episode thrown into this one, but you bet your bottom dollar that would have been in here if we'd had a
Yeah,
little
for
bit more
sure.
of that at the time.
The trash thing is mostly right. We all now have microplastics in our blood. We don't know what that means yet. That's gonna be fun. The company thing was mostly right, but as opposed to Starbucks and Costco, it's like
Palantir.
Palantir and Meta.
The not fun, shitty ones.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Shout outs to Costco again. I like
Could
it.
Palantir get away
would
with it if
happily
they offered
live-
hand jobs?
I would
They're getting away
happily
with it
live
without doing that.
in a
Yeah.
dystopia like corporate hellscape if it was Costco. That
If
was
the entire
like,
country was a Costco warehouse, I'd be like, yeah, man, this is fine.
yeah,
At least it
that,
works.
you know what?
Yeah,
Right.
see.
There's hot dogs.
There's hot dog. There's chicken bakes.
There's rotisserie chicken. Yeah, I'm good. I'm set.
Bruh, fucking 56 grams of carbs, 16 grams of fat, 36 grams of protein. That's pretty decent macros.
The president, vice president, and speaker of the house are like Big Justice, AJ, and the Rizzler.
Not the
Ew.
Rizzler.
The little kid definitely had like TikTok energy.
Absolutely.
He's like, yeah, he
Oh
won a
my
contest and he's
God.
here now. He's like, no, now that kid went viral on Twitch and now he's part
Yeah.
of Congress.
Yeah,
this
for
day.
sure.
The self-service things I thought were very funny.
Mm-hmm.
The walk up to the station, buy your food. There's no food in this. It fucks you up. He's like, okay, well,
Get fucked.
yeah. And then the police state is scarily
Yeah.
becoming more and more a thing.
Hate that.
Always
really
has been.
hate that one.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit to realize this.
Mm,
And like correct me if I'm wrong,
I might.
but yeah, okay. We're basically all of the like audio anythings, because there's a lot of audio prompting thing. There's the food terminal, there's a lot of like
Yeah.
automated whatevers. Were they all voiced by Tom Kenny?
Probably. I don't know.
Because I definitely recognized it as him at the Carl's Jr. stand of like, it's Tom Kenny! But I'm like, wait, I think he's everything. And I just couldn't get that verified or not.
That'd be a utopia.
Right, and that's where I'm like, okay, no, but if Tom Kenny is just
Everything
kind of
was
like,
named by voiced by Tom Kenny. That's crazy.
right, I'm like, okay, again, that in the Costco warehouse, United States of America, I'd be set. Love that.
Apparently, they were about to make a sequel to this.
Well, there's a bonus episode, bonus scene, end credits.
Mhm.
Avengers will return. I don't know if y'all stayed to watch it. I scrubbed through just to make
I
sure
did
there
not stay
wasn't
to watch
anything.
it.
Yeah, I saw.
Yeah, and you know what it is?
What is
It's
it?
goddamn Upgrade getting out of one of them military like
Oh, that's
deep
funny.
freeze boxes. Where you're like, God damn it, were they
She was
really
right.
about to do a sequel with it? And exactly.
So most of the sequel stuff would have been centered around Terry Crews' character, President Camacho.
Aha.
I
which
could
is
get
just,
down with that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
just him doing the Old Spice commercials, but in a funny wig and a
Okay.
USA tank top. He's
Yeah.
shown up as the character at like South by Southwest a couple times.
Sure.
Just cuz.
You know what?
Okay.
I don't like this movie, but at least it like gave a bigger boost to Terry Crews' career. That's fun.
Right.
At least we have that going for us in this
At least we
hellscape of
have
a world.
that going.
Ooh. We always have Costco and Terry Crews.
That's my
We also-
president.
Fine.
And it is, well, yeah, man. Yep. So thanks for joining us on this
Remember
episode.
this 4th of July to put out your mandatory presidential photo of Terry Crews at your cookout, I guess.
Like
I'm just thinking about them in the hotel room, and there's that photo of him on the nightstand. I'm like, who from props, who from sets just like left that there as dressing and went, no, this stays.
Thank you for joining us. Happy 4th of July. Happy America Day. Get some tasty, eat, watch the fireworks, be safe out there, y'all.
Please be safe.
Join us next time when I start my new political campaign, Mata. Make America Terry again.
Yeah, baby!
Peace.
The Liberal Artists Podcast premieres every other Thursday on your favorite podcasting platform. The show is hosted by Bodhi Opapula, Kaylee Horowitz, and Andy Gibson. You can find the show at Liberal Artists Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks to White Hot for performing the theme song Reflect, which can be found on freebeats.io. Now, I'm off to go exploring, and maybe, just maybe, I'll find a sheep that I can call my own. Good day.
This is a joke just for Bo.
Hi.
How many Dermots do you think are out there who are just like, yeah, I'm actually on a Spec Ops assignment right now, and secretly they just like got kicked out of basic training on day 1 because they stubbed their toe and thought they were mortally wounded? It's the kid from your neighborhood who's like, yeah, I can do a backflip, but I'm tired right now, so I don't wanna.
Less than I think, more than I want.
Good answer, Chief.
Good answer! Good answer! Is it on the board?
Let's go!
Kill! Sorry.
Naked grandma!
Daggum fucking shit. Sorry, you're gonna have to cut that out.